Does anyone else love Taco Bell as much as I do? Bean burritos, potato soft tacos, beefy Fritos, crunchy tacos, beef supreme chalupa.
When you're ready.
I'm in Utah, in a random town on I-15 going south from Salt Lake City. I'm headed to one of the most special places in the world to me, which is southern Utah. I love that. Interest? Frito hot, Frito taco. Frito, it has Fritos in it. This hike that we're going on, called the Subway, only 80 people are allowed to do it every day. So they have limited permits and they give them out in a lottery. I mean, if you get chosen, then you get to do the hike. And we got lucky and we won the lottery. We've got our permit, and now I need a map. Have a good one. Bye-bye. I got maps. This is a beautiful, beautiful map.
Cool, bro.
Oh, what? Oh gosh, I bet.
Time to eat, Borders. Put the maps down.
One in, I'm bringing one in. Bye, nothing you can do about it. Cut out this entire thing. That doesn't really make sense to me. I'm trying to find exact. It's almost bedtime, but there's a ghost town. Oh, it's open. It's open. Go for it. Yeah, we gotta go up. Man, there's something about abandoned places that is just so haunting, and I just love it. I'm excited for tomorrow. I've never been inside of these really, really narrow canyons, so pretty excited to go explore. But for now, bedtime. Super sad. You laugh at my suffering. Is that thing turns into a little fanny? All right, this is a giant canyon, and really what we're standing on right now is a huge slab of rock. And when I say huge, I mean like hundreds of kilometers long. Like look at this. If you were to follow this slab of rock a little bit more southeast from here, you would get to the lowest point, which is the Grand Canyon. This huge slab of rock, it's called the Colorado Plateau, has lots of little canyons. It has a big canyon, the Grand Canyon, but it has lots of other little canyons. One of them is Zion Canyon, which is the canyon we are hanging out in right now. Actually, technically, we're right next door to Zion Canyon and Kolob Canyon. Anyway, these are all canyons that tell the story of a slab of rock that has been whittled down over millions of years by erosion. We are descending into the valley that has been cut out by the water, and we're actually gonna go into a little canyon, a very narrow canyon that is a very young canyon, meaning it hasn't been cut very wide, and you will see why. It's technically backcountry here, meaning there's no official trail, no markings. You just create your own adventure, which is kind of nice. I just like that. Okay, this is slippery according. This one's good. This one's super solid. Okay. I'm good, I'm good. Famous last words. So these big walls of rock you can see are full of layers. Tons of layers. Layers, layers, layers. Layers. Whoa, layers. All of these layers in the rock tell a little story of what was happening on the earth in this area at some point millions of years ago. Utah used to be in the ocean, under the water. And then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't, and then it was. So every time the ocean would rise, it would bring a new set of minerals and sediment into this area. And that would become the new bottom of the ocean in this area. And then the ocean would go away for a little bit. And that sediment would settle and solidify and eventually turn into rock. So what you get is this story that's etched into the rock layer by layer by layer. And it's just beautiful. Water starts to get... You doing okay back there?
Don't worry about me.
Oh, I'm not. Don't worry. I'm not worrying about you. And eventually, with enough water and flooding going through these cracks in what was once a solid rock, you get something that looks like this. The canyon we're going to is a much younger canyon. It's still in the process of being widened. I wonder what that looks like. I guess we'll find out very soon. We're about to get into this canyon. This is where it all begins, right here. This really narrow cutout in the rock was cut up by this water, and now every second that this water runs through here, it cuts it a little bit more. In a million years, this will be a big canyon. I gotta jump in before we get up to the canyon because I'm too hot. Here's the big caveat though. Not all rocks erode equally. They erode in different ways and on different time scales. And that, I think, is really important. And as soon as we get into this canyon, we'll see why.
Way cooler than I could have imagined. Oh my god. That's funny that you said we're gonna get
Oh my
Wait, say that.
gosh. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So, like I was saying, not all rock layers erode equally. The majority of Zion The thickest part of the sediment is what's called Navajo sandstone, which is really, really hard to erode. Right underneath the Navajo sandstone is this Kayenta stone. It's more of a mud stone or silt stone. It was deposited before the Navajo sandstone, and it was a much more silty, muddy thing, and it erodes a lot easier. And so these formations, you can see this happening, frozen in time, where the Navajo sandstone is resistant to being eroded, but the Kayenta right underneath it is getting more and more eroded because it just reacts so much more to water. And that's why you get this crazy circular feel to this formation, which is why it's called the subway, like a tunnel. So I want to tell you about the tripod I've been using. It's a brand new tripod. It's actually not even for sale. I'm just using the prototype from Peak Design. Peak Design makes this bag. This bag I've been using for 3 years. They came out with this tripod. And I'm like, wait, I kind of had thought of them as like a bag making company, and like suddenly they're making a tripod? Okay, so they sent me this tripod. I've been using it a lot and have really held off on giving thoughts on it until I really used it. Well, I've been using it and I freaking love it. Like, I love it. It is tiny. So many amazing little tactile features that allow me to move it and adjust it in really natural ways. And yet it's really light and it fits in the water bottle compartment of my backpack. I love the plate that it comes with. This little square plate that you can use on the tripod, and then you can put it on the little Peak clip. I've had the Peak clip forever, but I've never actually used it because I've always had a Manfrotto plate on the bottom of my camera. So I'm really into it, and I'm gonna be using it now for everything. I'm no longer gonna be using my Manfrotto tripod, which is sad. Peak told me they wanted feedback and any critiques or downsides. Only thing I can think of is if they had like a quick release plate that I could put on like my gimbal and stuff, so I could use this plate and like quickly put it on my gimbal as well, or put it on other things, like mount it. That would be amazing. Wish the plate on the bottom could screw on and off with like a hand screw instead of an Allen wrench. I don't know, these are tiny things. I'm like scraping the bottom of the barrel here to like come up with feedback, but the reality is this is an amazing tripod. So tripod's not for sale yet because it is in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign. It is the cheapest now that it will ever be. So if you go pre-order it now, it'll be cheaper. There's carbon fiber and there's aluminum. And I've got the carbon fiber, which is feather light. The aluminum is great too. It's just a bit heavier and cheaper. It's like the perfect travel tripod. It really is. Like for the type of filmmaking I do, nimble, lean, like I just need something that's solid but small, and this does it. So thank you, Peak Design, for making a beautiful tripod. Thank you for sending me this tripod. Thanks for sponsoring this video. We're turning around, we're headed back down. The subway is an amazing place.